there have been some significant changes in the track, so let's get down to it. Winds are at 90 miles an hour, so the storm is weakening. It's over land, it's encountering frictional forces like trees and all that stuff, so it's no longer the big bad Cat 4. What it's bringing with it, the big bad Cat 4 rain, and it is raining. The rain we're getting now is just sort of the start of what's on the way for tonight. Rain may be the biggest legacy of Ian. We could see 20 to 30 inches in some of the hardest hit communities across parts of central Florida, resulting in local flooding that will be notable at best. We're already seeing significant flooding. I just saw some very fresh video out of Oviedo. My wife shot, and there is a lot of water out there. Needless to say, it's hopefully not entering homes, but it's just like a lake where usually there's no water. All right, so here's the new track. Right now, it's located near Sebring, down in Highlands County. You know, the racetrack's down there in Sebring. It's forecast by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is a big change now. It's forecast by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to be somewhere around eastern Orange County. But that's important because that means it's going a little bit faster. Because in the earlier advisory, it showed it being just over Seminole County at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right, so now it's speeding up. It'll be here, same general location, but at 8 o'clock, maybe a little bit farther to the east. Now, one important thing, the eastern track doesn't mean that we're out of the woods from the impacts. In fact, the farther east it goes, the more rain Orlando gets, because the rain is mostly a function now of the fact there's a cold front sitting over north central Florida, and all the tropical moisture is being pushed into it like a wall, and it can't go through the wall, so it just gets wrung out. And so there's going to be a stripe of extremely heavy rains just to the left of the track, which puts Orlando square in the middle of that. Heads up on that. The flooding's only going to get worse, and I'll show you the radar in a second. But at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, at least it's moving faster. That's good. We'll take the good news where we can get it. By 8 p.m., it'll be offshore. We'll have hurricane force winds pushing into Daytona Beach, and eventually it makes a second landfall in the low country of South Carolina. So that's the latest 11 o'clock track. Let's talk about the radar. Okay, so here's Orlando. We're now starting to get in to the business end of this system. We've had the scattered showers all day. We've even had a couple of tornado warnings and a couple of spotted tornadoes down here in Osceola County. At this moment, we're under a flood warning for Orlando, for Osceola County, for Volusia County, for Seminole County. It's a broad brush flood warning. These flashing warnings are flash flood warnings and flash flood emergencies, where up to 20 inches of rain has fallen. This core is the circulation center of Ian, located right here. And as I mentioned, if it tracks just to the east of Orlando, maybe going down the beach line towards Titusville tomorrow morning, this heavy swath of rain is going to go right through the metro and drop about 12 to 15 inches of additional rain. So what we're getting now is very heavy rain. It's just pouring outside, but it's going to get even harder and even more intense before it finally ends tomorrow morning. Let's zoom in now to this. This is frost-proof Lake Wales. We're in the Polk County area where it's just coming down, and it's heading north. Kissimmee, you're right on the edge now of the really heavy stuff that extends from Haines City west through areas like South Lake Toho. Rainfall rates with this are between 5 and about 6 to 7 inches per hour. And legitimately, with this kind of a setup, you could see 5 to 6 inches per hour. And if it does that for 4 hours, you're looking at what could be a good 12 at the minimum to 20 inches of rain from that core alone. Now, north of that, we're catching an easterly flow coming off of the Atlantic. So we're getting these intermittent downpours. And I say intermittent because it pours for 10 minutes and then it kind of stops, and then it pours for 10 minutes and it kind of stops. And that's going to be happening until this main thrust of the system moves north. Essentially, right now, we're in an outer eye wall of Ian here in Orlando. It's become a much bigger system. You never want to just pay attention to that one center of track. This is a much bigger system now, so the rains are starting to increase. The wind is definitely increasing. We've caught gusts here in the Lake Mary area of some 60 miles per hour. We just poked our head out the window here and checked out those pine trees swaying out there. So that's going to be a problem with all of this water rising and the tree root systems potentially becoming weaker. It's not going to take much wind, unfortunately, to push some trees down and lead to even more problems on the roads and with power outages continuing to build. Bithlo right now, it is absolutely pouring. OIA, this is a loop over the last hour, and you can just see how it's just sweeping through the region, and a wider shot revealing that behind the main thrust of Ian's worst, which is right here near its core, things are improving rapidly for the Bradenton area, for Port Charlotte, for Cape Coral. It's not even raining anymore down there, and so by tomorrow morning things will look a lot better. The sun will come out, but they're going to be cleaning up because they got hit really hard down there with a Category 4 hurricane. This is heading north. This core right here, this is it. This is what we've been talking about. This is what we've been anticipating. This is what the models have been suggesting, that we'd get 15 or 20, maybe even 30 inches of rain if you add it all together with the rain we've had today, plus what's coming our way out of this. So what we need to do is make sure we're hunkered down. I know we've been saying that all night. I'm sure you're watching from home, obviously. We're all hunkered down watching if you got power. But if there's any inkling to go out, it's just better not to, because the problem is you're going to hit possibility of flood water and also the trees blowing around. But this is it. That's the core of the action right now, and it's coming up from the north. An update on our power outages. We've got 28,000 power outages for Volusia County, countless thousands for Seminole and Orange counties, 120,000 power outages for Polk County. The core of the system coming out of Southwest Florida, and naturally that's where you're going to have the most power outages. So we'll continue to monitor those maps as well. Let's talk about the wind gusts right now. The wind speeds in white, the gusts in blue. Sanford gusting to 52, Daytona 54, Kissimmee about 36 mile/hour gusts, so nothing wild now, but the computer models have been suggesting that overnight we could see wind gusts over 70 miles an hour, maybe even approaching 80 miles an hour for Osceola, Orange, and Seminole counties. Probably not such a high-end event, though, for Seminole County. It'll kind of drift down a little bit, but still very gusty winds. New Smyrna saw a hurricane-force wind earlier. Sanford, about a 53 mile/hour gust at the last check. And here's a live view looking at Daytona Beach. It is pouring rain, whether you're in Daytona or you're in Orlando. And the last thing I want to show you before I toss it back to you guys on the desk is this. Future radar starting off about half an hour from now, doing a great job of illustrating where the rain's falling. And this would be the core of Ian we're talking about. And watch how we put this in motion, how it rolls almost due north. So we really see conditions here maxing out at their worst in Orlando between 1 and roughly about 3 a.m. After that, the core works north toward Daytona, Pearson, Lake Catherine, north of Sanford through 5:45 in the morning. And then from Orlando south, conditions start improving a little bit. However, one little thing, it looks like the system's going to occlude, where it wraps back around itself during the afternoon. So this will be the end of that main core of rain that we've been anticipating and also kind of dreading because of all the rain it's going to drop. But we may see the rain continuing, except from out of the north, through tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon. It'll be more intermittent, but we're not going to be done with the system in a clean way like Cape Coral is tonight and Port Charlotte, where the rain is over. In fact, tomorrow afternoon it could still be pouring, just not to quite the same intensity, but with all the flooding that occurs overnight, it'll just be insult to injury, where the water will have really nowhere to go. It won't realistically be until tomorrow night that the rain is over, and we can start thinking about the cleanup that will be inevitable for some communities. So John and Luann, let's give you an update here on our future rains. Additional rains from now until this is over. We could see an additional 20 to 30 inches in a portion of Volusia County. So that's significant. Oviedo, I hate to look at that, about 17 inches. Orlando, 15 inches. Hopefully these models don't verify. Hopefully the forecast is wrong, right? But this is a tropical system, and it's a Category 4 hurricane that's now weakened. It's got winds of 90 miles an hour, and that means that it's going to transfer the kinetic energy of all that wind into rain. All right, John and Luann, that's the 11 o'clock update. The rain is going to be the big factor now for us to track. The wind is almost going to be a secondary thing, but it is going to obviously knock down trees and stuff like that. It's just not going to be the main player, it looks like, tonight. Unfortunately, the flooding is going to probably have a broader impact. Yeah,
Brooks, like you said, it's a little ahead of schedule, so that's good news. But boy, did it kick up the amount of rain in some of those areas.
It sure did. You're right. It's ahead of schedule because earlier a model had it about 2 o'clock sitting over Seminole County, and now the model has it, or I should say the National Hurricane Center forecast has that at 8 o'clock. Around northeastern Orange County, so it's sped it up a good 6 to 8 hours. So hey, get it out of here. I'd love to wake up tomorrow morning and find that it's gone and we can rest easy, because rest assured the next few hours are going to be difficult for parts of our region.
Yeah, Brooks, do you know why it's speeding up? Because it looks like it's still at 8 miles per hour. Is it that cold front you were talking about? Is it scooting it out of here quicker?
Well, it's an interesting question, and you have to remember at this point the subtleties really determine, and it really is a subtle thing. The subtleties determine so much, where if it had a forward speed of, say, I'm going to step off the screen, I'll come right back, but I'm going to go back to our advisory. If it had a forward speed of 8 miles per hour and now it's sped up to, say, 10 or 12 miles per hour, just a real subtle jog. Let's see, right now it's got a northeast wind at 8. That slight increase in speed could do it. But at this point, I think what they're doing is they're seeing where the center of the circulation is right now relative to the previous forecast, Luann, and then they're saying, okay, well, if we going north-northeast at 8 to 10 miles an hour. Where's it going to be at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning? And so there was a little bit of a shift there where before it looked like maybe it would go a little slower. You know, the earlier track actually kind of had it meandering through Polk County and sort of taking the long way. So that was probably also a contributing factor. It was kind of, you know, meandering and kind of almost a curve. And this is more of a straight shot. So it took the highway, and it looks like it'll get there a little bit sooner. And I'll take it. So that's the latest here from the Weather Center. At home right now, if you've got power and you lose it, don't forget you can watch us live on your Fox 35 Storm Team app, live streaming video just like you're watching TV.